This is NNN. Good evening. It's Friday, May the 15th, and this is the Norval News Network, the network that answers the question, what's new at Norval? I'm your host, Mr. Algae, and this week we'll make cedar tea, we'll go lake trout fishing, we'll go creek exploring, we'll release baby Atlantic salmon, and we'll find new uses for all those cardboard boxes. Let's take a closer look. This week, Ms. Corley is literally up the creek, and she's taking us with her.
So I'm down here at our creek, and what's really interesting is, based on the living things in a creek, you can tell how healthy it is. And we've done many river studies and creek studies with our students here at Norval, and all of the different critters that we find let us know that this creek is actually quite healthy. So I'm going to take a walk and see if I can find any cool fossils or critters under some rocks. Nothing under there. Nothing under there. I just moved a rock and there's a lot of really good action in here. There's lots of little critters moving, and these larvae are mayfly larvae, which mean this creek is really healthy. One of the coolest things that we've found in our creek here at Norval is a petrified log. This is a piece of wood that got buried underground. It was cut off from oxygen so it couldn't decay, and then over time it was replaced with sediments and turned into a fossil. Here is the petrified wood. If you look really close, you can see kind of the grains of the wood. And it's a different color than all the rest of the rocks around it because it had different minerals that solidified from the water as they fossilized in the shape of the log. There are a lot of fossils in this creek. Right here you can see I've got some shells on this rock. Sometimes all you find on the rocks are just a little worm. It's important to carefully lift a rock and then lower it down the way you found it so as to not squish anything that you find. Thanks for joining me down here at the creek today. It was a beautiful day. We didn't find much, but I'm sure we would have if we had some students down here to help. Back to you, Mr. Algae.
Nothing makes Mr. Parcher happier than to be out in a boat trying to catch a fish. And today we get to go along with him.
Thanks, Bill. Hi everyone, it's Mr. Parcher here. We're out on a secret lake fishing for lake trout. At this time of the year, the lakes will flip. Once the lake hits about 4 degrees, all of the water down in the bottom of the lake will come to the top, and the top water will swing to the bottom. When that flip happens, lake trout especially really get aggressive. They start feeding, and they'll also be feeding at varying depths within the water column. Typically, lake trout are a fish that like to stay way down deep, but when that lake flip happens in the spring, you can catch them very close to the surface. So we're fishing 2 different styles right now. We have a spinning rod, and we're fishing a Rapala-like swim bait about 6 feet down, and then we're also running a big Williams silver spoon to imitate a whitefish at about 18 feet down. So we'll keep you updated if we catch anything and make sure to show you, and hopefully you'll be able to catch it on camera. For those of you who were asking last week about the brook trout fishing, I did end up catching a few, and pictures will be attached at the end of this segment of the video. So we've been fishing for about 2.5 hours. We missed one fish, so we had them on, and then unfortunately we lost them. When you're fishing lake trout, they're a very picky fish, so sometimes you'll fish for hours and not catch anything, and then they will turn on and become very active in their feeding. We're hoping that we can catch one more now that the light is starting to fail, but we'll see what happens. If we do catch one, we'll make sure that we upload some pictures to this video. But one thing to always remember when you're fishing for lake trout is if you're practicing catch and release, always dip your hands in the water before handling the fish and letting it go, because lake trout are very, very sensitive to the pH of not only your hands, but as the water as well. So if you handle them with dry hands, you can actually damage them and kill them. So make sure to always get your hands wet and then pop that hook out and let them go. Thanks for joining me, and hopefully we can send you some pictures of fish later on.
Are you finding a lot of cardboard boxes building up in your house? Mr. Evans has some creative ideas for how you can use them.
Thanks so much, Mr. Algae. My name's Mr. Evans and I'm coming at you from my box room. We've been staying at home, so we've been getting a lot of deliveries lately. And every time we get a delivery, it comes in a box. We bring that box and we put it up here. You're probably wondering why we're doing that. Well, I'm here to tell you, this, right here, is not a box. I'll show you what I mean. Next time that you go to recycle something, take a look at it. See if it inspires you. Could that be something else? It's a fun way to recycle. Hope you enjoy. Thanks very much, Mr. LG. Back to you.
Earlier this week, I did my first ever live streaming class with a group of UCC students as we released Atlantic salmon into the Credit River. Hi, this is Mr. LG, and today we're releasing salmon into the Credit River with boys from UCC Prep School. Inside this bucket, I have about 50 baby Atlantic salmon, and we're going to release them into the Credit River, trying to bring this species back from the brink of extinction.
Hi, Mr. LG.
Hey guys, how are you today?
Good.
The salmon I have in the bowl in front of me today are really, really rare. These little guys are called Atlantic. Atlantic salmon are pretty much gone from the Great Lakes. So Norval, we're working with scientists from the Ministry of Natural Resources to help bring Atlantic salmon back. These fish, Atlantic salmon, are 4 months old and we're going to release them. Now while Annie's got the camera on them, I want you to take a look at their color. You see how they're kind of yellow and brown with little speckles on them? Isn't that cool? Now Annie's going to pan the camera up to the river. Look at the bottom of the river. What color is it? It's kind of yellow and brown with speckles, isn't it? That's not a coincidence. These fish evolved to be able to blend into the bottom of creeks and rivers because they're small. Look how small they are. So when we let them go, they have an instinct to go for cover. They hide. The first thing they'll do is they'll find some gravel or they'll find some of these tall reeds here and they'll go hide amongst them because their most important job right now is to not get caught. Our goal is for them to grow up and become Atlantic salmon and bring the Atlantic salmon back to the Great Lakes. Pretty cool, huh? Once they go in the water, I bet they'll become invisible to you. Okay.
Bye, Frenchie fry.
Au revoir,
Bye,
French fry.
and sweet potato fry.
Yeah. And there's French fry. Well, there's 50 more Atlantic salmon in the Credit River than there were a week ago. Let's hope they have a long and happy life. Feeling the cold from that polar vortex this week? Maybe you should make a cup of tea with Ms. Buckle.
Thanks, Mr. Algae. Today we're taking the foraging out of the forest and into the backyard. We have our expert forager, Sasha, here, and let's see what she's going to sniff out for us today. It looks like Sasha has sniffed out an eastern white cedar. An eastern white cedar is a versatile tree that is known for growing in stressful situations. In fact, the Niagara Escarpment, which is the cliff face that spans from Niagara Falls to Tobermory, is home to cliff-dwelling cedars that are over 1,000 years old. The flat, scaly green needles are used by indigenous people to make a delicious tea. This technique actually saved many scurvy-ridden French explorers, ultimately giving it the name, the Tree of Life. We're going to take some of small branches and some of the needles, and we're going to go inside and make a delicious tea. All right, let's go. In order to make the cedar tea, I'm going to place the fresh cedar leaves that I've collected, and I'm going to put them in a medium-sized pot that is filled about halfway with water. I'll let that water come to a boil so that the tea can steep, and then we will have some delicious tea. Once the tea has been boiling for about 5 minutes, you can take the cedar leaves out and turn off the heat. And now you have a delicious cup of cedar tea that is rich in vitamin C. I hope you enjoy. Cheers!
Yes. And now this.
Well, a bird, the bird's a winner, well, don't you know about the bird? Well, everybody knows that the bird is a winner. Well, a bird, the bird's a winner, well, everybody's heard about the bird. Bird, the bird's a winner, well, a 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 bird, the bird's a winner, well, don't you know about the bird? Well, everybody's talking about the bird, well, a bird, the bird's a winner, well, a bird.
Well, that's it for this week's edition of the Norval News Network. Thanks for watching. From all of us at Norval, we hope that all of you are safe and well. And don't forget to have fun outdoors. See you next week.